This Sunday, we take on Everton at Goodison Park to continue to embark on our 3-point title challenge. Now listen, if you guys have been watching me this last week, you would have realized that my mood has now shifted. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling excited. I feel like something might be happening. If I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up. It doesn't bother me to be wrong because this feeling that I have right now is something that I have to talk about. And that feeling is, I feel like we can win the league this season. But to make that happen, the only thing we must continue on is prioritizing 3 points on a weekly basis. It's not about a sequence of wins or a run of form. It's about doing your maximum best every single weekend you take on Premier League opposition. And it's this mentality that we must maintain, that we must tap into if we hope to get a result against one of our bogey teams of the last 5-10 years in Everton. Because boy, Everton are a funny team. Recently, they have a new ownership now that's taken over the football club. Yeah, Sean Dyche does come under criticism for his old school approach, but on their day, they're one of the hardest teams for most teams in this country. If we look back at their terrible start to this season, the last 12 games, they've only lost twice. Like, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. They've only lost twice. Heavy defeats to Man United and Spurs. But in the meantime, they've picked up many credible points, many decent 3 points, most notably against London opposition. In 4 games against Arsenal, Brentford, Crystal Palace and West Ham, they've picked up 6 points. That's 1 win against Crystal Palace and 3 draws against Brentford, Arsenal and West Ham. That's mad to me. For some reason, they know how to step up against the London teams. But I know what you're thinking. Nini, look at our form this season right now, man. We're different. We're not Arsenal. We're not bottling things right now. I hear what you're saying, but my friends, since 2019, we've only won 1 game at Goodison Park. 1 game. So what we have to pray for is that we take inspiration from that Palmer 4-goal masterclass during the start of the new year, and we hope we take that form forward to our away game. If we have any hopes of doing the impossible, maybe not the impossible, but the improbable, it's going to come from securing results against these types of teams. Against Brentford last week, that was a great sign of progress. Against Everton, that must continue. That's the litmus test for success that we're going to need this season. So the challenge now is, my friends, can we get the 3 points at Goodison Park? Today, I'll be going through the match preview. You know what to expect: team news, conference reviews, predicted lineups, plus a lot more. So my friends, sit back, relax, and only hit that like button if you're feeling the good vibes for our away game against Everton. Please, no bad luck, man, only good vibes. That's what the like button's for. So that's enough of me right now. Let's get straight into things. We talk team news. Now the positive is, as we saw yesterday, Joao Felix, who made his cameo against Shamrock Rovers, should be in contention to at least get minutes against Everton. That's decent. Outside of that, it's the same old story for the usual suspects. We're learning that Badiashile is set to be out for a significant amount of time. That is bad news because, as we know, Wesley Fofana isn't expected to return until after January. We know that Cucurella is suspended for the game tomorrow. Currently, we don't have Mudryk to even help us out with squad duties, so things are looking a little bit techie right now. But at least on some positive news, we've learned today from Enzo Maresca that Reece James has been taking part in partial team training sessions again. He said don't expect him to play against Everton, don't even expect him next week, but at least it's reassuring to know that they will take their time now to slowly reintegrate Reece James back into the team. So that's the team news out of the way. And this takes us into the press conference key points we learned today from Enzo Maresca. To start with things, what's our actual chances at Goodison Park? As Maresca said, he doesn't think right now we can go top of the league if we get a result against Everton. But he's saying that, as we know, to take away the pressure from this young team, or the youngest in the Premier League. Instead, we focus on the game. We don't focus on sequences. And for myself, I think that's the best approach. I think we all understand the responsibility behind this approach. I look at how Arsenal kind of collapsed near the end. They started to believe their own source, and in the end, when it really mattered, they weren't able to rise to the challenge. We're not looking to recreate that. And if anything, A lot of these deflective tactics that we're seeing from Enzo Maresca, it is heavily reminding me of Antonio Conte's time when we won the league in the 16-17 season. I've been going through some of my old notes, some of the old previews. I keep all the notes saved to keep a catalog of, ideas, thoughts, etc. that have come from managers, news, all that good stuff. And during that time, Conte only spoke about 3 points. Conte constantly redirected pressure back to our opposition, our rivals around us. At the time, he was like, Liverpool, for example, they have the fixtures as an advantage in their favour. We don't. Maresca today said that if we win, he doesn't know if Liverpool will take that as pressure. That's for them to decide if they feel it or not. They currently have 2 games ahead of us, so they have a nice advantage in their favour. So it's on Liverpool now to perform, and it's these little subtle psychological tactics which I've seen before under another Italian manager, and it's just these little things that I'm noticing, these stars that are aligning. Listen, with my personality type, I'm a bit intuitive. I'll hold my hands up to that. So when I see these types of things, they resonate a bit deeper for me. So I'm liking how Maresca's conducting himself in these press conferences. Long may it continue. But to move on, of course, a serious question was asked, and that was squad challenges for the future. Because the reality is, now that we've beat Shamrock Rovers yesterday, there's no European football at least until March. How is Maresca set to cope? As Maresca said, this is something that he's not worried about. If the players are not happy, that's on them. I think the tough approach is the way forward. It makes the most sense. Obviously, January, it's not going to be as crazy because we have cup games, FA Cup games. Maresca himself even said, listen, we're going to have 3 games in a week. So if any players are feeling sorry for themselves, that's going to be on them, because you must maintain your level, maintain your form if you hope to stay in contention with me. This tough love is needed if you're mounting a title challenge. You can't be having mental weaknesses, getting insecure, letting your ego take over you. That can't be happening. There's still plenty of games. The squad is going to be needed. So it's up to the players now. For the final 2 questions, Maresca was asked about the record against Everton. As he says, this is a record that he wasn't really aware of. To be honest, I'm sure he might have known about it, but what I take from this is that it's something he's not focusing on, because why should he focus on that? Do we have the same squad that we've had playing against Everton over the last, 5-8 years still here? Absolutely not. They're a new team. And as we saw last season, we picked up 1 defeat in that 2-0 away loss last season, but when we took that game back to Stamford Bridge, we destroyed these guys 6-0. And that's the only thing that this young team is going to be thinking about right now. And for the final question, after seeing all the young talent come up with the goods against Shamrock Rovers, what does the future hold for them? As Maresca said, the young players in Tyreek, Mark, Josh Achimpong. For me, it's best that these kids remain here, remain part of the squad, and learn, develop, get used to the ideas. It is better to remain here than going out on loan, in my opinion. So I think he's directly challenging them and speaking to them. But there was one particular point of his answer, and I think this was completely directed towards Mark Yu, of course, our youngest ever hat-trick scorer in our history. As we know, Sevilla and a few La Liga clubs are showing interest in potentially securing Yu on loan. Maresca revealed that Yu is desperate for minutes. He wants to play, he wants to perform, and he said that if Yu decides that he wants to leave out on loan, that is a discussion that can be had. But for himself, he feels like it's the best move right now to just remain here and continue to learn and grow, because there's still plenty of season left. So my friends, they're all the key talking points from the press conference today. How do you feel about things? And now, let's tackle this predicted lineup. I'm going to show you guys my predicted lineup for the game tomorrow. I'm curious to see yours, but this is the one I'm going with, and I'm going to give you my reasons as to what I'm thinking about. So obviously up front, none other than Nicholas Jackson. Behind him, I've gone for Jadon Sancho, Cole Palmer, and Neto on the right. In midfield, Enzo Caicedo, because Lavia isn't ready yet. And in defense, Renato Vega, Colwell, Tosin, Gusto, and Robert Sanchez in goal. Now, Robert Sanchez speaks for himself. Maresca says he's my number 1, and it's going to remain like that until he isn't. Defense, I've gone for Vega to play. And one of the main reasons I've done this is that I think against Everton, one of the main threats that will come against us will be that aerial threat, the physicality. And I just feel like with how well the system's been flowing right now, I don't want to lose having the left back inverting in midfield. Vega's shown promise earlier during the start of the season where he played a decent game playing in that role already. And I just think playing alongside Caicedo is only going to give you more confidence, right? So I think in the meantime, to maintain that defensive balance of Cole spreading right to the left, Tosin and Malo Gusto, playing as a wide centre-back and not an inverted option, I do think that Renato Vega, this will be a big game for him because if he does play, listen, I think he's shown excitement. There is definitely promise there. And what I honestly feel about him and what I've always been saying is that I really feel like in the next maybe year and a half, 2 years, we're going to see a player that is going to be, this guy has improved dramatically because that's how the game works. I think in the meantime, this is still the educational year for him. When he does some good things in games, at times he can maybe be a little bit sloppy. Maybe he's not as consistently imposing with his frame. But, month by month, you're seeing that confidence grow. You're seeing that improvement. I thought he held himself up really well against Shamrock Rovers. It's obviously easy opposition, but again, it's about how you apply yourself and not necessarily the level of your performance at times. But I think that this could be a good opportunity for Vega now to be tested playing the inverted left back role, and I think Everton's a good opposition for him to play in. Midfield speaks for itself. Caicedo, Enzo, my lord. Enzo Fernandez. I'm loving this new Enzo we're seeing, and I just feel completely justified and never writing him off and always having the foresight to know he is going to come good. He is going to get better. The thing I consistently criticize him for is how he enters the books. His late arrivals, his shooting technique, how he sets himself up to take shots. And look at the levels we're seeing right now. That is the one thing I knew he could get over because he has scored goals in midfield a lot in his career. He had to just apply himself now to the new Premier League rules. And this guy is succeeding, and nearly every good thing we do in games, Enzo Fernandez is at the heart of things. And alongside that, I've been eulogizing him so many times throughout my What We Learn videos, but Caicedo for me, currently the best midfield player on form in the league. There's really nothing more to say. In attack, I thought about this, but I think with Madueke starting against Shamrock Rovers, maybe this implies that Pedro Neto will be starting on the right-hand side. Now, a part of me thought, you know what, ideally, I wouldn't mind seeing Neto on the left and Madueke on the right because Everton can be exploited for having a very slow defense. Their fullbacks, they can get beat 1v1. And I think one of the easiest ways to beat them is pure pace, pure explosive pace. But I think with Madueke starting against Shamrock, this is probably an opportunity now for Pedro Neto to come back, show what he can do. And I'm really liking that not only can Neto and Madueke play along with each other like really well, the competition we're seeing between them is actually improving each other's game. I think in the meantime, we're noticing the improvements in Madueke. I mean, this guy's in-swingers when he cuts inside in the last 5-6 games. I mean, he's been producing some incredible deliveries inside the box. And it's another small example of the strides he's making with this development. Neto, recently, he's had, a suspension and little things slowing the progress down. But I'm really curious to see his reaction to potentially starting tomorrow because he'll want to kind of assert himself down that right wing flank right. I think one of them will play because I think Sancho, who's been great the last 2 games, probably deserves to continue playing from that left side. It'll be interesting not having Cucurella there as support alongside him because I really love the high IQ level understanding between both of them. I mean, bro, how many times have I seen Jadon Sancho run towards goal and then he's not even looked when he's played the pass in behind or overlapping to find Cucurella? That really sums up like the proper IQ understanding they have in each other's game. And obviously the 2-star guys speak for themselves, and Cole Palmer, can he continue to cause Everton more misery? Let's hope so, because this guy's a genius. And Nicholas Jackson, who reacted very well to a poor game against Spurs to get us the winner against Brentford. And I think right now you want to make it 10 goals this season and you want to assert yourself because, as you know already, small reports are coming out surrounding potential striker additions, maybe in January, but realistically in the summer. So that's another warning sign to keep on working, keep on improving, and making this club realize, listen, you don't need to waste another 50 to 80 million signing competition for me. I am your guy. So that's my predicted lineup, my friends. You share yours. I'm giving you guys my match prediction, and I'm going for a 2-1 win. I just feel like this could be a bit of a test, and it's an interesting one because it either goes two ways. I think Everton, if they concede early, they could capitulate. But I think playing at home in front of their fans, really just protecting their blocks, keeping things very low, I think they may cause us some issues. I think we'll have enough in the tank though to see them off. But Everton, they can get something from a set piece, a penalty, a free kick. We've been punished by these types of goals against them over the last 5.5 years now. I think they may pose some interesting questions against us. So it really will come down to being efficient from the strong few opportunities I think we're about to get against Everton. So my friends, that's me today. Share your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about things? Let us all know. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. Come back later tonight as I have a very special news video, as yesterday I was given the opportunity to speak to Joe Cole about our title chances this season. So I'd love for you guys to share your thoughts on that. So look after yourselves. See you all soon. Cool.